No bother.
I'm not wearing it.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Superhero Movie Review Time. I'm your host Grant Liston, a very bored Englishman. Directed by Zack Snyder, Justice League became the greatest movie ever made because Superman is in it. I hate this movie. So much. Originally planned as a two-part movie, it was cut down to just one, so movie executives could get their bonuses. This should have been DC's moment in the sun. This should have been their crowning achievement. This could have been their answer to the Avengers. This could have made Disney and Marvel stand up and take notice. But no, we got this appalling, abysmal movie. So let's all sit back and hate ourselves as we review Justice League. So we start off with a reminder that Superman is definitely dead. Never coming back. Batman, once again played by Ben Affleck, has been chasing down parademons. For those of us who only watch the movies and have a rough semblance of what Batman is, what is a parademon? Oh, it was in his flashback in Batman vs Superman. Who, what, why, when and where? 5 normal concepts of life. These are the 5 questions need answering. So, who? Parademons. As far as I'm aware, they are CGI monsters so the Justice League can kick their heads in. That's all the information I know of them. But Batman is tracking them. What? What is going on? Vague. All we know is Batman is tracking them. Where? Well, Gotham, I'd assume, but where have these parademons come from? How did Batman know they have come? All this has happened off screen. When? Some point after Superman's funeral, I'd say no more than 6 months. Why? Because I'm Batman! So it turns out that these parademons, this CGI monstrosity, is attracted by fear. And I thought, oh, are they going to possibly experiment with something to do with Scarecrow? No. Nothing intelligent, it's just it can smell fear. So he manages to capture this parademon and it blows up in his face. That's never explained either. It just has a self-destructive, well, I've been caught, cyanide pill with an explosion, I guess. And it leaves these 3 square boxes imprinted on the wall. Like tesseracts, if you will. So Batman decides he needs to form a team together to stop these parademons. Because he now knows there's an army of them, even though we've only seen one. So he first of all recruits Wonder Woman, once again played by Gal Gadot. She's in England stopping Bruce Bolton's attempt on destroying the world and sending it back to the Dark Ages. It's actually an okay sequence, the build-up's quite nice, she's saving civilians, it's pretty damn cool actually, but there's just one thing I look at and go, Because Bruce Bolton stands there with his gun and he goes from left to right, and Wonder Woman, she jumps in front and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks, and it's like, okay, really cool, slow motion, fantastic. Why didn't he just go... Up next is Jason Momoa's Aquaman, who's this drunk hunky surfer dude, and yeah, you know what, it's a pretty funny scene if the trailers didn't ruin the one funny moment where Jason Momoa has Ben Affleck up against the wall and he goes, I hear you can talk to fish. It's a funny moment, it's like a proper goofy cartoon comic book moment which actually fit in well here because obviously they're trying to make Aquaman kind of a grounded, more serious character, but still bring up the fact that you talk to fish, right? And they played it again and again and again and again in the trailers. Oh, I hate trailers so much. Aquaman though refuses to join the team because he's a loner. He's a one-man wrecking crew. Well, we haven't seen you in action to know that's true or not, so we'll have to take your word for it. We now get the so-called star of the show, Ezra Miller's Flash, People tell me he stole the show. In my opinion, there was no show to steal. He's got an odd charm about him, I'll admit. I really will. He's got something about him, a nice quirk to him, which is okay, but I found it grating. I found it annoying. I look at Grant Gustin in the Flash TV show, and he's perfect because he's kind of dorky, but he's also kind of, mature, and he's got his own passions, and he's got his own beliefs, and he's got his own hero structure. He's got a real grounded personality as well. This one feels like he's trying too hard to be Deadpool, and he also joins the team with no questions asked. It's like, I'm putting together a team. Stop, I'm in. Great. And lastly, we get Cyborg. Ray Fisher, that's who plays him. He's a really, really forgettable role. He's basically a Swiss Army knife R2-D2. He plugs himself into anything and he can work it. End of discussion. That's literally all they give. Now we meet the villain. A cardboard cutout of the name Steppenwolf. Born to be wild. I wish. This is one ugly, ugly looking CGI villain. It's bad. It's horrifically, unforgivably bad. He attacks Themyscira. Said it again! Different view, same joke! So he attacks Themyscira and tries to steal their energy box, which is called a mother box. Tesseract! Excuse me. So you ask yourself, how did the Amazonians protect this box? What kind of security measures did they use? Well, they put it in a highly accessible stone hut, which Steppenwolf just teleports into and takes it. I beg pardon, they play a small game of keep away from him before he butchers them and then takes it anyway. It is now time for exposition! So, Steppenwolf is a general in Darkseid's army. And once upon a time, Steppenwolf was defeated by an army of cameos from Zeus, Hercules, even the Green Lantern Corps. I remember in the cinema the buzz that went on. I was like, Green Lantern Corps! And I'm sitting there going, okay, guys, come, I'm nerdy. This is weird. This is eerie weird. And everyone's reaction when that little green ring went, I was like, cool, nice little segue. Then, but everyone's losing their mind. Well, guess what? It means nothing now, doesn't it? So Steppenwolf uses the parademons as his expendable army, and he needs the 3 mother boxes to rule the world. That's it. That's all he wants it for. Like, he has no other motivations, no other backstory, no other compelling, interesting things apart from monologuing and ruling the world and his mother boxes. It's the laziest movie villain ever. So, when they defeated Steppenwolf, they decided to split the 3 boxes up. They gave one box to the Amazonians, they gave another box to the Atlanteans, and they gave the 3rd box to mankind to hide and keep secret. So, you ask, where did the Atlanteans keep their box? Well, they hid it very, very secure, deep underwater, where Steppenwolf teleports down and takes it. Did no one think that a teleporting alien would be stopped by water or stone? Did no one think that maybe, just maybe, we should put it somewhere where he can't teleport into? Did no one think of teleportation or a coherent script? The team head to Gotham Harbour to free some hostages that Steppenwolf has collected, searching for the 3rd box. The Flash says he can't fight, completely contradicting what he does in Suicide Squad. He says all he does is run around and push people. You ran all the way to Australia to push a man over who was throwing boomerangs and killing people. Nope. However, they have a bit of a scuffle, and there's some moments in there that are really cool where Flash going in like super fast motion, everyone slows down, he helps Diana, he touches the sword towards her. It's all pretty cool, but it's all kind of meaningless at the end of the day. Steppenwolf then decides to drown them, but they're all saved by Aquaman, because, you know, water. Yes, that's why Aquaman showed up in this bit, because water happened. I hate this film so much. I really do. So the team all talk and they try and figure out where the third box, the box hidden by mankind for all of eternity, Cyborg has it. Yep. Cyborg just jumps into their lives and goes, got it. So now they're in possession of this Tesseract, this mother box, this box of energy, and they concoct a plan to resurrect Superman, because, you know, he's definitely dead. And they actually address something in the film. And what if it goes bad? What if they resurrect him and he goes all Pet Cemetery? It's a good, valid question, and the film actually does a good job asking that question. Then Bruce turns around and says, don't worry, if he goes bad, I'll bring out the big guns. And I'm thinking, oh, big guns? What could this be? Like, what did he not use in Batman vs Superman in their fight? Lois Lane, isn't it? Yep, it's going to be Lois Lane. So they resurrect him. Yeah, that easily as well. As simple as I just said it. They literally put him in the Kryptonian ship where Lex Luthor cut his hand to make Doomsday, and they put the mother box in there just as Flash electrocutes it, and boom, he's alive. The tension in that bit there was so little, I just assumed it was a simulation where they were going, so that's what would happen if we did that way. Okay, let's give it a go. Like, literally, it was so by the numbers routine. There was no high stakes at all. And of course Superman goes crazy and he starts attacking the Justice League in... I want it to be good, but it's still not great. It's like... okay, you're on the right track. Build from that. So he's going crazy and Bruce goes, okay Alfred, bring out the big guns. And you know what that big gun was? It was fucking Lois Lane! So Clark calms down, grabs Lois and they fly off together. Great. It gets better. It gets infuriatingly better though. As they're distracted by the fight with Superman, do you know what happens? Do you know what happens? You know that box, that really important box they cannot let Steppenwolf get his hands on? Do you know what he does? He teleports down and takes the third box. So this is a short representation, a reenactment if you will, of what's happened in this film so far.
I am Aquaman,
Lord of the Seas. So we now come to the film's big battle of bollocks. The team track down Steppenwolf to Russia and they go there without Superman. Batman then goes on a suicide mission and draws the parademons away from Steppenwolf, while the small Russian town's being covered in the really shit effects from Suicide Squad. They literally copied and pasted it, it's ridiculous. Honestly, this is the ugliest, disgusting fight scene I've ever seen. And not in like a, it's gory and bloody, no. Visually looking at it, it's like looking at my face while you're trying to enjoy a meal. It's wrong, it's hideous, you do not want to look at it. It's just ugly, you know, it's like literally blood red dark atmosphere throughout the entire thing. It is just wrong. At least in The Matrix 2 when you got Neo versus the 100 Smiths, at least it's fun and inventive and kind of like intriguing. And yeah, okay, it hasn't aged well at all. But this film came out in 2017. That film came out in what, 2002, 2003? Oh, don't forget Aquaman flying along going, "My man!" Oh, it just makes it all so much better. Steppenwolf seems to have won the battle because he picks up Cyborg and rips him in half. And then Superman comes along. And he just proves, once again, that he is too overpowered to be interesting. He literally comes along, knocks 7 bells of shit out of Steppenwolf like it was his day job. And you just, I'm sitting there going like, it's a terrible villain. Okay, let's get that out of the way straight away. It's a terrible, terrible villain, right? But when he's getting smacked about, like when Superman's smacking him about, I'm not thinking, yes, get him. I'm thinking, yeah, he does suck, doesn't he? And it's just like, great, all your other heroes now look crap. I really, really don't want to compare this to the Avengers, but the reason why Loki was so good is not because he owned everyone in a fight. It was that he was so cunning and conniving that they couldn't wait to get their hands on him. And when the Hulk did get his hands on him, it was hysterical because no one saw it coming. I feel like Justice League tried to make Superman Hulk, which is like the weirdest comparison with all the DC guys who are like, Superman will destroy everyone, he'll destroy Goku, he'll destroy the Hulk, no one can touch him. I don't really care, if I'm honest. But Superman, to me, is just uninteresting because he's got no weaknesses apart from a green rock. So Steppenwolf is then defeated like Scar from The Lion King when the Chitauri hyenas pounce on him and beat him to a pulp and they all get teleported away. And the film ends with Bruce Wayne officially creating the Justice League, Diana Prince becoming full-time with Wonder Woman, Arthur Curry, I don't know, learnt friendship, I guess? That's not very clear. The Flash has then got a job in the police department, Victor Stone is then helping out his dad, and Clark Kent... Hang on. Batman vs Superman. Superman died the same day Clark Kent died. People were now like, oh, Superman's back. Okay, you're right, he's an alien. It can make sense. Clark Kent is now back from the dead. How the fuck are they going to explain that one? And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Justice League. And oh boy, it was awful. Oh wait, there is an after credits scene. There's not a lot of them in the DC movies, I've noticed. There was one at the end of Suicide Squad and there's one at the end of Batman vs Superman, but Wonder Woman and Superman, nothing. So Justice League has got an after credits scene where Lex Luthor has escaped Arkham, he's on his yacht and he's approached by Deathstroke, and they talk about making the Legion of Doom. It would have been interesting if the film wasn't so fucking bad. So, as always, I'm going to give you my list of 3 good and 3 bad. How I kept them down to 3 bad and how I got 3 good, I'll never know. But as always, starting with the 3 bad at number 3, the shots of Wonder Woman's arse. Now, I'm a red-blooded, straight male, and I think Gal Gadot is beautiful. I really do. And in Wonder Woman, she looks incredible, but she never looked, like eye candy. She never looked like, something for the dads. She looked beautiful and she looked kick-ass. In this film, she was the eye candy. She was something for the dads, and honestly, every time she was on screen, the camera would just pan around and get that shot of her ass. At number 2, the plot, the screenplay, the script. I'm trying to keep it down to 3, but I'm putting those in one category together. It was bad. This was a typical case of studios getting involved and demanding that they know best, and they really, really don't in this one. They rely too heavy on the fact that we as an audience have seen the cartoons, got the action figures, read the comics, know all the fan fiction ourselves. They rely so heavy on our knowledge that the film they bring to us is like, well, we've got an old Batman, we want to see his adventures. There's a line in there where Alfred is talking to Bruce Wayne. They say, oh, do you remember the days where your biggest problem were wind-up penguins? We don't. We want to see that. And is this the same Batman from the Tim Burton series? Is this the same one from the Christopher Nolan series? I highly doubt it. Who is this Batman? All we know is he's an old Bruce Wayne dressed as Batman. Where's he come from? Where'd he go? Where'd you come from, Catman Joe? Who the fuck are you? Like, stop relying on our knowledge to make a passable film, because you can't even do that. And the number one thing I just do not like about this movie is the CGI. I am really not a fan of, like, when I watch a movie, the CGI doesn't really bother me. Like, I can watch it and be like, okay, that doesn't look too great, that looks amazing, but I focus more on story and actors and performances. That's what I love about movies, you know, like the spectacles, I can give or take them. But when the film is so over-reliant on CGI, much like the Star Wars prequels, you can't unsee it, and you look at it and go, ugh, and this is 2017, only a few years ago to me, 2019 if you're watching in the future. I don't know, it's just, it's so ugly and unnecessary. And the villain, the Steppenwolf in CGI, there was not a single moment I thought the heroes were ever looking at someone. It was so painfully obvious he wasn't there and so computer generated. They really, really wanted to rush this film out just to get their bonuses, and it shows. That being said, I'm now going to move on to somehow 3 things I like about this movie. So, starting at number 3, come together right now over me. And number 2, Jason Momoa's Aquaman. They took a really goofy, kind of silly character, and here he's pretty badass. I think they made him a little bit too much like Thor, but I don't know, it was something kind of engaging. Like, I liked watching him fight, kind of. You know, I mean, it was pretty bad, but he had that great big old trident, he was stabbing parademons. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool, I like that. And he wasn't like really campy and crap either, so there's that. And the number one thing I do like about this movie, it's kind of odd, this one for me, because I've complained about these 2 heroes the most, and that's Superman and Flash. And yet, when they're on screen together, it's actually fun. Like, there's a bit where Superman's fighting the Justice League and Flash goes to run around behind him in slow motion, and like Flash is like, and all Flash sees is Superman just, and see Flash's face of confusion. It was funny. And again, later on, they're saving people in Russia. Flash goes left to save the family in the car. Superman goes right, picks up an entire apartment building and flies off with it. And there's like a big old one-upmanship between them, and it's kind of fun. But also the mid-credit scene. Flash and Superman decide to figure out, okay, who is faster, and they have a race. And I've got to admit, it was just fun, you know, like, and especially the fact they didn't show you a winner as well of the who would win between Flash and Superman. It's Flash, but the point being is that it's such an interesting concept. That's a real fan question of who would win it, and the fact that they did listen to fans, even for one thing, it gets the top spot for me, because it shows that they do have ears, but they've got a very short attention span. So, at the end of all that, I'm going to give this film a 1 out of 10. It is bad. I do not recommend it to anyone, and I'm glad they're rebooting the whole DC universe. So, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and as always, leave me those dirty comments, and I'll see you all next time. Take care now.